Anywho, before we continue, yet the 5th tangent in the last 10 minutes. Last time you guys came back, we had a long session of you guys essentially trying to shop food, everything you could, and just managed to make enough money to not only still bed down for the night, but also to finish paying off a boat, get a flag, and finally get a crew and head off.
Right.
To which I'm also going to show you guys this. You might have to adjust a bit to the right and then down. Because your boat is it's uncovered as just a small portion, but there's your boat.
I don't see anything. Where is it?
Oh wait. Yoink.
Ha! We're on the
Helps
wrong
to remember to do that part.
Oh God, is our boat a token?
I had to edit it. It is supposed to be keelboat. I've seen keelboats that have the weird thing in the middle and in the back multiple times, so I'm just gonna go with this one because it's the easiest one to work out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little square. There's a possibility of stuff happening today, so the boat needs to be on the map.
Right, so you can add stuff to around it. And we got a carpenter and our navigator.
Yep, those are the 2 NPCs with you.
We got our Usopp and our Nami, but they're called something else.
And if by chance the boat sinks, there's a certain waitress that Belena will take her frustrations on. Just saying.
There's no waitresses on ships.
No, I'm talking about back in the town, the closest town to us.
Why do you attack the NPCs? They never did anything to you.
Anyways, in all seriousness, Belena's gonna have her Raven fly around, get a view of the area.
Meanwhile, on Xena's shoulder, stop it!
Oh yes, Alberto the parrot. What were the names of the 2 crew members again? I'm trying to remember. They were
actually I did have names for them, and I completely forgot what they were now.
Conrad, I think, was one of them. I forgot what you named the other one though.
I didn't even realize he named them.
Yeah, I did have names for them.
He named them. He named them when he introduced them. He says we didn't know anything about them other than their occupations.
Right.
Here, let me generic up a name quick.
I know one of them was Conrad. That's the only thing.
I named the one Conrad for now, just so I can try to remember it later.
Conrad, and I think one of them started with a G. Was it Glint, or am I thinking of something else?
I couldn't tell you at this point. Everyone who's watching the previous episodes could probably tell you.
I thought it was in like the freaking chat, but the only thing in the chat is Giselle's name.
No, I don't think anyone entered into chat. Oh. I rolled and I got Gunter.
That's good enough.
Yeah, Gunther.
Your name magically changed since the last session.
It updated to a shorter name than called Gunter.
Which one's the carpenter and which one's the navigator?
Gunter should be the carpenter and Conrad the navigator.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna assume that Gunter's gonna be the carpenter, and that would make this one Gunter, so he's the carpenter.
All right.
So as a matter of fact, your navigator's already up front looking.
Yeah, because he's a navigator. It makes sense that he'd be trying to navigate.
Probably got some weird widget in his hands, just kind of like, okay.
Probably doing
Now let's see. The sun's there and the wind's coming this way, and
I just picture him doing the hand thing that Spielberg does, where he folds into a square. Just can't get a look at you.
Instead of that, he's like holding up some weird little metal device with a little scope on it. And he's just tweaking something on it. Then he peers through it and it's like,
I didn't know they had this back then.
It's probably a more archaic version of it, but it's something similar.
Right. But, yeah, Valena sends her Raven to scope out the place. And remember, I taught it to say danger if it senses any animals or anything.
That is true. You did say, teach it to say that, but as you send it out and it's essentially looking for any animals out in the wild, you just hear it just repeating, danger, danger, danger. There's an animal. There's an animal. There's an animal.
You get an animal, and you get an animal. You get an animal.
Pretty much last session.
Danger! Danger! Danger!
I just wave it back.
You just face palm and quietly just come back. Come back.
Come back, Tombs. Come back.
The barbarian next to you, seeing this happen, has a soft chuckle to himself.
I just kind of picture the raven flying around going, danger! And my parent going, stop it! Danger! Stop it! Danger! Stop it!
Danger! Stop it! Danger! Stop it!
I can just picture it going stop, and all of a sudden it just says, I'm not here! Didn't know what to say about that one, did you? I don't know why.
Okay. So we need to roll for anything, or
Yeah.
Well, you're just leaving town. You're officially heading down the river, and as you're going, by the way, the river is obviously slowly getting wider as you go. This is officially opening up into the major riverbed, and not just the mediocre stream you've been kind of following for up until this point. And yeah, your navigator's off front. He is calculating a few things, just making sure everything's running smoothly. Be quick here.
Valena just kind of sighs and walks up to Azina.
wait, I didn't open my notepad that I usually have open to keep track of loot.
And she's gonna go, you know, would have been useful to pick up, and it just occurred to me, for these heavy rapids, we should have gotten some Roman.
Oh, rowing men?
Yeah, rowing.
We've got enough of us that we could handle that if we really needed to.
Fair enough.
If this was a bigger boat required a bigger crew, I'd agree. But
Yeah.
we don't got a ton of room on this boat, even though it's way bigger than my canoe. We got a more versatile crew than a bunch of people that are just here to row the oars.
And all of a sudden it's interrupted by the danger! Stop it! She just goes,
I don't think my parent would actually be yelling "stop it" at the
No,
raven.
every once in a while the parrot might shout "stop it" just at random, but it's not a regular thing unless you actually say the word.
Oh, I think it's just not that she's about them repeating it. It's about the fact that her whole plan for the Raven backfired.
Well, it would still be good. It would still be a good use for keeping watch while we're resting. But if you're having it fly out over a forest area where there's animals all over the place,
Or well, not even a forest area, because the forest would actually hide some of it. You're technically still heading down a river in a very sandy open area, and every single hyena, crocodile, etc. that your crow is seeing is danger. So
yeah,
technically you're seeing like 10 or 15 dangers that you don't really need to worry about at this point.
she's one of those random fish that just kind of like jumps out of the water and splashes back in. Danger!
I just picture at random a bottlenose dolphin just going up, going, just going back under.
Danger!
Dolphin just suddenly leaps up and yells, "Skulls!" Splashes back in.
Stop it! This entire ocean's a madhouse!
Geralt would probably lose his sanity at that point, and Theobald would just sigh. But Valena will call her Raven back.
And eventually it does come back and just kind of half lands on your shoulder. Danger!
We need to work on your danger sense.
By the way, it didn't take too much longer after the boat set off and Geralt did go inside the cabin, and in the far back wall he did set up the big Crom symbol to sit by itself for now. And set
Right.
down his bags.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of my stuff's probably sitting in there too, but like,
Mhm. Your stuff, any extra gear you decide to keep for in case you need to arm the guys, etc. is probably in there.
right, yeah, because we still got 3 crossbows and 3 maces that are just probably sitting in there because there's nothing. There's no point in carrying them around for no
Mhm.
reason.
And this
Right.
is technically home, it's just a floating home.
Right.
Right,
Like-
so...
Like probably most of my gear is in there aside from my sword and my flute.
Also,
And
I would
obviously
say,
the-
like, right about here, next to where Theobald is, you can see a square grate where you can look down into the hull. And you can see that the hull's big enough that it can store stuff, if need be. And I believe, yeah, actually, there's also in the, inside of the cabin area here, you'll also find another easy-to-access hatch with a kind of like a pull chain on it.
Right.
So
Right.
people can go down there if they need to and grab stuff or store stuff.
What kind
I
of?
think Valena will look for a private little corner in the ship, or inside the ship or somewhere, where she can walk into and set up her little altar area.
Well, you know, the one thing I was thinking is like, the one thing I probably should have considered buying that I didn't might have been a cannon.
Oh,
But at the same time, I'm also not sure if you want to have one of those on a ship like this, because I don't know if I want to encourage people to fire back at me when our ship's not that big to begin with.
I will say that I now have a additional rule set book for this, because it's just like, you know what? It was only like $4, $4 or $7, and it comes with a lot of rules that would help with trying to manage this stuff.
right.
And it included more boats, and it includes gear for boats.
Right.
Cool.
For instance, now I have prices for equipment such as cannons, which is an additional 2,000 gold,
Yeesh.
ballistas, catapults, grappling hooks,
Yeah, a lot of those I don't
salamander.
think are going to fit on this boat. I think the only one of those that would fit would be an actual cannon, because the other things are kind of too big.
Yeah, the one thing that would fit on here is an actual cannon. Cannons can vary from like barely bigger than a rifle to full-on cannon that you can wheel around.
Yeah. We'd need like a way bigger ship for like...
Salamander dragon heads, Arcana artillery. Whoa, okay. Didn't see that earlier. Creature launcher. Ore blades, interesting.
I can imagine on a creature launcher, the first thing to go is Belena's Raven.
Danger! There's also hull upgrades. There's spike plates, magic mesh, and spell shielding. That's interesting. Miscellaneous. I'm sure I can find different names for some of that stuff, by the way, but yeah. Miscellaneous,
like a-
naval ram, boarding planks, and naval mines.
I'm guessing this is like a third-party book. 'cause-
Yes. So they probably added a whole bunch of stuff, and you can re-alter it to fit whatever setting too. So,
Right.
but
Like, I
for,
mean, that's the thing is, there's like a lot of stuff that's not covered by the regular rules that like
Mhm.
Third parties could easily make money just putting out some rule sets for stuff like that.
For additional ships, they also have rowboats, lifeboats, catamarans, longships, which I'm borrowing some of the longship stats because it's the next closest thing.
I'm assuming that my canoe would kind of count as a boat.
Essentially. Sloops, gunboats.
Sloop, as in the ship from the 1600s.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Mana clipper. Okay, galleys, warships, steamships, and battleships.
Warship was in the regular book, but
Yeah, they
those other
included
ones.
some of the ships, but they didn't include all of them, which is why I'm essentially going, I think the longship was their replacement for the one we have.
You already sunk our battleship before we got it.
Yeah, this was called. What was this thing called? I forgot what it was called already because it was.
I think it was Kelp ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keelboat. It was a keelboat.
Keelboat.
Yeah, keelboat.
Yeah, it's a keelboat, and it's just like, it's technically a long ship, but shorter. By like maybe 10 feet.
Anyhow, so.
But yeah,
I asked Conrad if he's made himself comfortable on the ship.
So you walk up to Conrad and ask him how he's doing, and he's just like, I'm doing good, Captain. I've managed to figure out where we're headed so far, and seems like everything should be fine, at least for a while. I'm not one for scouting, but I can at least figure out which way we were heading. And matter of fact, he's looking down at a map that he also has on hand. And scouting out a little bit on it, he's like, we should be able to hit Akif down the river in about 2 days' time, as long as nothing slows us down. Akif, by the way, is like the last big city until you hit the shoreline of Valley at Sea. After you hit the Valley at Sea, there is another major city further to the north that you can hit as well.
Probably will be our plan due to the fact that it'd be the best option after getting to the sea instead of just heading straight out into the middle of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I just say, well, hopefully, if anything does slow us down, it involves treasure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think the main thing is we would need supplies. I think you already pointed that out.
Right.
You did mention supplies, but you do have enough supplies as a group to more than last year in a couple of days. It's gonna take you.
Yeah,
to
we
get to the next city.
we got food because we got all that jerky, and we got we got we're in a river. Unless this is salt water, we're not gonna go thirsty.
No, I'm pretty sure actually that the water does come from the mountains and leads back into the sea. So, if you wanted the part of that, yeah, actually, I think there might be the other stream goes back out into the ocean, but not this one in particular. You happen to head a little bit further north of the one that would go back out.
All right.
Yeah, for the time being, everything is basically smooth sailing.
Yeah. Belena's whoops.
You just jumped overboard.
Well, Belena's gonna go to the endpoint of the ship and just stare at the ocean, just going downriver and kind of taking it all in because, to be honest, she's like a city girl. She's never seen the rivers this wide before or been out this far from the city or let alone the sea for that matter.
Yeah, you've seen some bodies of water in your time because you didn't stay completely stationary while you were home, but yeah, you've not seen, at least on the regular, you've not seen rivers this big. This is probably a good 10 times bigger than any river you've seen. You've seen rivers where you can like, oh, we need a bridge, or oh, we need a boat, but not one that even a bridge looks like an impossible idea unless you do a lot of construction work.
I just looked at Giselle's character sheet because I was wondering what kind of weapon she had. I see she has a rapier.
She's got a rapier and she's got a bow with plenty of arrows. Oh, speaking of which, I actually happened to think of something which I completely spaced on. Let me double check something really quick. Garroth. Because I believe, yeah, he only has melee weapons, and he's gonna go out to sea. He might
No,
need
he's got a
some
crossbow.
range.
He's got that crossbow.
Oh, that's right. We did give him a crossbow, didn't we? Never
Yeah.
mind.
He made it. He tested it out, made a good shot with it, said it'll work. Because he basically took one of the crossbows, and he took all the bolts.
Actually, how many bolts was that? Because I've not even seen the crossbow now.
I think it was like 30 bolts. It wasn't like a huge amount. Like the guys weren't like heavily armed for ranged combat.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not seeing anything for that, and I'm now remembering that you mentioned that. I do remember that happening.
You might not have actually added it to your sheet after we discussed it.
I thought I did. That's the other thing that's happening now too. It's like I could have sworn I did it. It was just a heavy crossbow.
I think so. Yeah, I think you said they were heavy crossbows. The funny thing is, I'm thinking if we ever need to teach these two guys how to fight, it would be the best to actually try and train them.
Right. We can put Gareth in charge of that.
I'm not sure that I want to do that.
I'm trustworthy.
I
Little big creepy smile.
I worried he might like brutally injure them by accident.
Would you prefer Giselle or Theobald?
That's what I was trying to think. I mean, Theobald uses a longsword anyhow, so he'd probably be a good person to teach the one guy how to use a longsword.
Okay, I just drag and dropped the heavy crossbow onto Gareth, and it did nothing.
Wow.
I think that might have been what happened last time, is that I tried dragging and dropping stuff and nothing happened. Try it one more time. Come
You don't
on.
have his character sheet popped out, do you? Or
No, I had to pop it back in. Actually, here. Let's
are
see.
you? Wait, hold on. Are you grabbing the item or the proficiency?
Oh, shit. That might have been it, too.
Because if you type in heavy crossbow, you'll see there's a proficiency at the top, and then the items are underneath it. She doesn't need to have the proficiency because it's a martial weapon, and I'm pretty positive barbarians are proficient in all martial weapons.
Right.
Okay, there's heavy crossbow. And bolts, I think, are what they use for ammo.
Yeah, it should automatically add some when you add the
Yeah,
weapon.
okay, there it is. Yeah, it added bolts. And let me get the edit thing open. And we need 30?
Yeah, because I remember the guys didn't have like a ton of them.
Yeah, I didn't have a ton, but they had some.
That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't even consider like everybody going. Okay, everybody's gonna have a crossbow because it's like there's not enough to really split it up that well.
All right.
It's like the guys were like prepared to take a few pot shots on people before they rushed in for melee. And I was seeing what probably was about all they had planned for them.
Mm-hmm. Basically, they had just crossbows and with just enough ammo to maybe needle at people before they got too close, and had to go full out melee.
We
Not
need
that
to
it helped
rob
them
people
much.
so we can get more bolts for our crossbows.
All right, so that's settled. I was thinking, oh wait, did I give him range? I don't think I gave him range. No, we gave him range. I just completely spaced. So never mind. That's taken care of and now fixed.
The Theobald has his sling, so
Mhm.
everybody either has a ranged weapon or they got cantrips.
Except for our two new guys, but they've got other things that they need to be busy with.
Yeah.
Probably when
Yeah.
combat starts, if it happens.
Yeah, they're not really people that are intended to be fighting. They're only armed so that they can defend themselves if they have to.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like if you get boarded.
Right. Because if somebody lunges at them and none of us are in between them and the person, they need to be able to protect themselves. At least long enough for somebody to get over there and save their butt.
Yeah, the only other thing I would think, the other things that I think would probably board us, other than other pirates, would probably be merchant ships that are looking to trade on the river, or security from the city, but that's not until a long way.
What are those religious people that go door to door?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
We run into seabound Jehovah's Witnesses that board us and try to get us to convert.
Have you heard the good news of Crom lately? Oh, not these guys. They give us people a bad name.
Not these guys. I fucking hate these guys. So goddamn annoying.
Darn Cromian Witnesses.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior of the Mountain?
Yes, we have a talking plate that was created by him in our cabin. Get out!
Yes, I've heard of Crom. I have a talking plate with his voice attached to it. Get out. Did you just say he has a holy relic of Crom? Can we see it? No, now go away.
I can just picture he says it's a talking plate. They just look at each other and go, "We'll come by later," and they just run off in their ship and just sell off. But anyways, so we're going down the river.
Yeah, just actually, you know what? Ozzy, roll. Have Azina roll for me a perception. Actually, no. Yeah, perception.
I didn't change over to it's showing my default avatar in the chat.
Whoops. It's high enough that it did the job. Yeah, you're just looking, and outside of maybe one or two boats coming the other way, dead quiet. It's and by the way, every once in a while you will see actually people on the front of their ships, and they are seemingly all doing this thing where someone's standing in the front with a raised right arm. And with that, Razina, also give me a I'm not sure what else they're called. Maybe a history.
Yeah, I would either say history or generate intelligence attack, but
history or insight.
You know what? Yeah, do an insight with what's it called?
advantage.
Advantage. Yeah. My brain just can't befuddle anything right now. Ooh. Yeah. It doesn't take you very long. You instantly remember. Oh shit! This is kind of the peace sign for we're not going to do you any harm, because essentially the right hand is well known for being the people's normal weapon hand, with very few exceptions.
Little did they know that Alzina was left-handed.
Oh, so they know
fools.
they know that they obviously because of the pirate thing.
Because of pirate stuff and so forth, it's basically like kind of a signal of everything's all fine here. We're not dangerous.
Yeah, if I see anyone do that, I more or less do that in response then.
All right. So yeah, so everyone, if you see a few of them doing it, you just kind of do it back, and they quickly nod and give a slight wave and report back.
They're probably like, we need to see if this person's going to attack us because they got a Jolly Roger flying.
Well, not even that, but you do have a very outlandish-looking crew for kind of a little bit meshed up and also very fresh-faced to being out here.
Yeah, and I did kind of intentionally make my ship look intimidating.
And you do have that really weird fucking giant bear in the front, so yeah.
They're like, are they going to eat us?
You don't normally see a bear mask, do you? No, that's kind of unusual. Make sure to signal. Okay, they're signaling back. Sure, yep, fine, everything's fine.
Reminds me of I'm sorry, I just remember the whole conversation we had about this when it happened. But it reminds me of a certain bear where we fed it spider legs and something happened.
Shut up.
Good times. But I think Velena's gonna go check on Crumb or Grum.
Gareth.
Girl.
Yeah, Gareth. Whatever. And see how's he doing with his crumb plate.
Do you ask him about the Crom insignia?
Sure, why not?
Okay, you ask him about the insignia. He's like, it very much told me it was gonna go quiet after we left. Apparently, it only really works in that place. Just gonna leave it in the I forget what it is again.
Cabin.
Cabin. I can't remember the name of anything all of a sudden right now. I'm just gonna leave it in the cabin for now. It's nice decoration. I'll figure out what to do with it later.
Yeah. There's a spot where does Azina hear them talking about this?
You might possibly be hearing a little bit of the conversation. You're getting your sea legs back and just kind of all over the ship at this point.
Yeah. But if I hear him say something about, keeping it in the cabin, a good place to keep it or whatever, I go, yeah, no assholes will see it there and try to steal it.
The barbarian guy turns and nods. Mm.
I could just picture him saying, "They can try," with an evil toothy grin.
Yeah, they can try, but they will die.
He doesn't even give it to words. He just gives a and a nod of yes.
So I ask Giselle, I mean, she's obviously looks more local than the rest of my crew, right? She's actually from this region.
I'm gonna say maybe the carpenter. Trying to remember his name now. Wrote down Gunter. Looks like he might be local too, but yeah, she's much more local than the rest of the main crew.
So she's she's actually from this region. But so I won't ask her where she's from because that'd be stupid.
What do I look like?
I kind of ask her. So how did you get caught up doing this kind of work?
Oh, me? I've always been kind of a self-made person.
I think we'll get along fine.
She kind of just smiles and nods. Yeah, I've been kind of on my own for a very long time. Childhood was a little bit rough, but I got over it quickly. Gives a sly smile.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here had a good childhood, except maybe Theobald.
Theobald and maybe Garoff are fine for childhood. It's more like what's recently shit on Garoff's world. That's been kind of a bad turnaround.
I don't know. Maybe Velena had a good childhood.
For the most part, but too,
aside from the indoctrination.
outside of the necromancy indoctrination, which has left you pretty much mind warped. Because everything is weird to you now because no one's fallen for that shit.
Yeah, you're like, don't you love skulls? And people just like, what are you? No.
What is wrong with you? Oh, get that shit away from me.
Yeah. If you say that to Azina,
oh my gosh.
If you said that to Azina, she'd kind of be like, I mean, they're better than flowers, but I still don't really like them.
Oh my gosh, Velena's a Hyborian witness.
Oh God.
He really is. What do you think about it?
Oh no, make it stop.
I'm sorry.
We're all doomed. We're all doomed.
So
it was nice with the boat when it lasted. Now we just need to drown it with the necromancer on board.
Yeah, so I guess, while we're traveling, Ozzy start playing some tunes on her flute to pass the time.
Play some melodies, kind of keeping an eye on things. Theobald is by the way, really awkward about the whole boat thing. He is... Anytime he walks, he's actually walking with the railing on his side, and he's... As a matter of fact, actually, at one point, you do see him go back into the cabin and come back out without all the plate armor on. Essentially, and not only is he not really used to being on the water like this, but his armor was also making it awkward to get around, and would probably be even worse if something was to happen to him.
He's not used to standing on footing that doesn't stay still.
Mm-hmm. Basically. And the heavy armor is not a good idea, to be honest, out here. Things
Right.
can happen.
If you fall off the boat somehow.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So he's had to lighten himself a bit, but he's otherwise... He's okay, but he's not as sure-footed as he would be normally.
Yeah. I imagine he probably still has his shield with him, though, because...
Oh yeah, he's
that's-
still got his shield and he's still got his sword with him.
Lena goes, "Are you doing okay, Theobald?"
I am fine. My tribe never really ventured on water much. He just kind of gives a nervous smile.
No. My kind tend to just live lavishly, but until you're indoctrinated, then you see the world through a new set of eyes. But anyways,
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Wait, did Elena just acknowledge that she's been indoctrinated?
I think so.
Well, I think she does acknowledge it, but I think she thinks it is a blessing more than a curse. You know what I mean? Like, she knows she's part of some organization, but she sees it more as a blessing than a curse. If that makes sense.
We got you, but yeah, that's also why she's a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, as far as anyone else is concerned. Yeah, which is again why Theobald reacts to the whole thing like, it opens your eyes. He's like, I'm sure it does.
So,
And Raven just responds, "Skulls."
You didn't
but you
train
know what?
that.
I just had a thought though. So Giselle's a rogue, so she's probably got a keen eye.
Quite possibly. Did you want to ask her something?
While we're traveling, because it's just to give somebody a task or something. I ask her, while we're traveling down the river, can you keep an eye out, see if you see any like caves or anything that look like they might be of interest?
She blinks, thinks about it for a moment, and she's like, I could probably look for something like that, sure. So she kind of starts heading back to where Geralf is and starts having a little bit of a look around. Matter of fact. Dang, not bad. She has a look around. She doesn't really see anything of major note at the moment, but she's obviously looking like she's got a good grip on the whole scouting out for stuff sort of deal.
Okay. Yeah, I just, I'm thinking, in case we, stumble upon anything, we're probably more likely to stumble upon something if somebody's actually looking.
Right. So Valena is going to be looking on the railing, looking at the ships passing by. Does any of the ships have anything interesting on them that stand out from the other ships?
Give me a perception check.
All right.
So most of the ships are going inward, not...
Yeah,
Well,
most of
actually,
the ships you're passing by are not going the same direction as you.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I
But
realized
but
that,
it
that,
is
that
but
makes
the
sense.
river is wide enough that the ships can easily go both directions.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Then again, that makes sense because unless one of them stopped, we're not likely to pass someone that's going the same
Yes.
direction as us.
Right.
Mm.
Seven,
Perception. Ships are ships, although you do notice that occasionally on like the second and third ones that you notice that there's some particular like regional markings. Like one of them you notice, the second one you notice has kind of like a trying to think of the names now. The second one you see kind of has a sort of Zamoria motif, so it's a little bit more of the regional kind of ship, and then the next one you see has some weird curvatures to it and seems more of a like a Eastern Asia kind of feel to it. So you can tell there's like definitely regional flares to some of the ships as you're looking them over closely, a little more closely. Also, that third ship in particular had some very fancy sails to them. They were actually colored kind of a tealish blue.
Tealish blue, huh?
Mm-hmm. And the
Yeah,
trim work on the ship was also red in color, as well as a normal stained wood.
Oh.
So
Anybody-
that one in particular was a little more fancied up.
So anyone I know, or
No, it's just that this particularly what you can make out of them by looking at them.
all right?
You to be honest, you wouldn't know anyone who came down this far.
Right.
You are a homegirl way up into Hyperborea. You are not used to anyone coming out this far, unless they happen to be sent down to like maybe Aqualonia for a mission, and they only go straight there and straight back.
Right.
Or if you find them in a mountain, unleashing undead on the local populace.
Yeah, you don't see anyone Hyborian related unless they happen to just be like one of like a dozen people there, and even then it's a stretch as to whether or not they might be Hyborian.
Which I still gotta say, that was the most unexpected twist to a pest control mission. I wasn't expecting skeletons.
I was like, we're gonna go for pest control, but I'm gonna up the ante. This is gonna be the
Alright.
most twisted pest control you've ever had to deal with.
All right. So Lena's just gonna, just look around, taking in the sights, because, like I said, she's never been on a river this big before, so it's kind of an interesting sight for her to see.
Well, going back to over here for a page to look at. Oops, I accidentally grabbed the map. If you go to the like mid right, you'll see that picture I got from Conan Exiles. That's
Yeah.
more or less what you're seeing. Is you'll see palm trees, you see some other bigger trees. You might see the cliffs now and again, but you've seen essentially a lot of beach and even more water than that at this point.
Right.
Like that's what it will look like when it started, but it will have gotten a lot wider faster. So actually, I'm going to do something here because she's since you've put her on the job of it. I'm going to say that Giselle is looking for, a little more frequently for stuff, and we'll see if she spots something else. No, it'd be search, wouldn't it?
Perception.
I don't think there's anything called search, so it'd be perception or investigation.
Investigation. That's what it was. And investigation is more physical thing, so. Yeah, you can see what I rolled. Perception.
13.
Actually, I'm going to say after a few moments, she actually does come by Xena and kind of hand on your shoulder. I think I spot something, but it's not what you were looking for.
Oh.
She nods and quietly she points out to you as you're slowly sailing up to it. On the far side, on the other side of the river, you do see some trails in sand. It looks like it could have been crocodiles, but it looks more likely like canoes or something to that effect were there and were once parked there and then dragged off again.
Interesting. I signal to the crew that we're gonna pull over and stop for a little bit.
Alright, you want to pull over and have an investigation then?
Yeah.
Alright. The navigator will probably help you get the sails to adjust so you can bring it over, and the carpenter and Geralt and probably Theobald will probably man oars to try and help swing the turn a little more harder,
Yeah.
as well as push to get the ship
I'll
to shore.
obviously help with the oars as well because Azina's stronger than she looks.
All right. So actually, then how about you roll with advantage, please?
On athletics?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That would be technically that'd be you with help from one of the other guys, and that didn't go too high. But it's not terrible, but it's not great. I'm gonna see what Geralt does with advantage from one of the other guys as well.
That's a lot better than what I did.
Oof! Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You start to get there, but as Geralt kicks in with the other God, I'm terrible at trying to remember names now too.
Gunther?
I have the memory of a sieve. Have I mentioned this before?
Conrad.
I think I've mentioned this before. Yeah. Let's Gunther will kick in, and Geralt and Gunther really start to push you around. The combined efforts from all four of you, you do finally get the boat turned so you can head towards the shoreline a little bit more, and then turn it again sideways so you don't just crash into the shoreline. And try and bring it to a slow crawl and raise sail so you don't keep moving. There is a small anchor on board. You drop it and it does eventually catch enough that it stops the boat from moving.
Okay.
So, how do you want to go about this? Who all do you want to come off with you, and who all do you want to stay on board?
I'm gonna say have Garroth and Velena's wolf stay on the boat with Gunther and Conrad while the rest of us go scout.
Have Geralt stay on board with them? Okay.
Yeah. And Velena's wolf, I'm sure, would bite anyone that it doesn't recognize that tries to do anything bad.
True. It is a wild enough creature that even though it's still kind of hesitant about the crewman, it's been running around Geralt enough to know not to fuck with him, and yeah, it would probably nibble anyone who tries to.
I kind of figured leave the strongest guy with the two people that aren't really combat proficient.
Mm-hmm. He can at least help hold things off for a bit.
Right.
Alright, so you head off with the rest of the crew, and I'm gonna say Giselle's gonna try to approach first and have a spot around. This will be more of a physical thing, so this would be an investigation. Ooh, okay. Yeah, she gets down by the sand. She's like, okay, yeah, definitely canoes. And then looks around a little bit more and then sees a trail of dragged items heading off the beach. She follows it off into the tree line and is very quietly heading that way, but then stops and kind of signals you all to come over as she finds a whole bunch of popped open crates.
Interesting. And there's nobody anywhere near these crates.
Don't see anyone nearby. The crates appear to be all empty. Like they've, and from judging from what you're seeing here, another investigation for that. Oh wow, yeah, she can nail this to being these things being left here like maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It's been a couple days, but they haven't been here for very long.
Right.
Matter of fact, one of them's got a bird trying to make a nest in a corner.
So somebody probably stole these crates and took their stuff out of them here and left the crates here, I'm guessing.
That seems most likely possible. I do know there's been some talk about problems trying to get shipments through. Although I didn't think they were this far upstream.
Are there any tracks we can follow from here? I guess I could do a perception on that too, couldn't I?
Yeah, you can do. Oh, wow.
Do I even need to?
Vilena
After
does an
that.
investigation. Vilena, yeah, you find tracks all around these things. You do, matter of fact, you even managed to follow them off a few feet over to a little small campfire that was behind some rocks. But then the tracks come right back to the crates and then back out to where the marks where the boats were.
Hmm. Oh, what? Hello?
Yeah?
Okay, I think that was Ozzy. I can barely hear you.
Ozzy? You might have been pulled away, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So I guess Velena's gonna tell everyone what she found, the campsite, and she's. I mean, he's.
Oh wow, actually Ozzy's completely crashed out of Discord.
I think he's logging out and logging back in.
Anyways, you were saying?
So she informs everyone about the camp, and then I think she's gonna examine the crates, see if there's anything less of value in them.
Nah, looking these over, they were pretty stripped clean.
Right? Anything in the camp or anything like that?
In the camp place, you can see marks where they might have been resting for a while. You see burnt out logs inside the campfire. Just a little campfire, just enough to like light things up maybe a little bit, and to possibly cook food over, but that was about it.
Oh, you're back.
That was awful timing. My headset just like it stopped working and it didn't fix until I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
That's annoying.
Okay, so I heard you talking about Velena seeing tracks and then it just cut off.
Okay, Vilena managed to find some tracks leading to a small campfire area. Then the tracks went back to the crates and then out to the boats again.
So like
Out to
somebody,
the boat marks, rather.
whoever did this left already, basically.
Mhm.
Right. And there's nothing of value here.
Yep, there's
Okay.
pretty much nothing of value. The crates are completely empty. About the only bit of evidence you can find about what used to be here is there does seem to be a tiny bit of food, leftover food here or there, so it could have been food supplies they stole.
Well, since we already stopped, can we try our hand at hunting before we head back to the boat? First, see if there's anything of interesting to hunt here.
Sure, give me a survival check. Not bad.
Velena is going to go. I've always wanted to try to gather coconuts because they've killed so many of the rays back in Hyboria.
Coconuts?
Don't you have you heard the saying that more people die from coconuts falling on their heads than Shark attacks.
No, I haven't, but okay.
So you're gonna look for coconuts.
The deadly nemesis is known as coconut.
Survival.
Yep.
All right. 10.
You found 2 of them.
I just picture that dramatic music. It's like doo-doo-doo.
My friend, right now I'm just imagining Valina just giving the finger point and going, "Yeah, boo."
I'm picturing her carving the coconut shells to look like skulls.
Halfway there.
No. She makes dinner that night with the coconuts and mead, and she puts it in shape in the plate as a skull. And it's like, enjoy.
We're not at that point yet, though, because we're still
Still gathering. So, Alazina, you do get a high enough score that you do eventually find a animal trail, and try to think animals in this region. You do manage to find a small group of about 2 hyenas, not too far off.
That
Okay.
doesn't sound appetizing at all.
Yeah, hyenas are not that great for the meal.
What about is there any boar in area? Any
I
boar
was
tracks?
more thinking of crocodiles.
+0. Oh, hey, she got a natural 10. Giselle pretty much came upon the same tracks like a few moments after you, and then just after she bumps into you along the way, she's like, "Oh, oh, sorry."
Theobald.
I guess I'll look for some animal tracks.
I was gonna say, what about Theobald though? Did he? Oh,
I
God.
Nope.
hadn't rolled for Vealbold. You already rolled your survival. Stop it.
Sorry.
Theobald. Does he have? Oh, he does have some survival. Let's see what he gets.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. You want those crocodiles? He literally takes the shoreline and walks down it a few yards in the other direction from where you went to find the hyenas. He finds a sleeping croc.
Okay, that'll make for some good dinner.
Yeah, he comes back and is like, "Crocodile that way. Big
All right.
beast."
I guess am I gonna try to stealth kill it or?
Actually, since
That
you've
might be
been
good.
quiet and haven't noticed, that's when Giselle's like, "Oh, okay," and starts sneaking off herself. Matter of fact, I see how well she can do this. First time stuffing. Oh wow, she got a roll, roll on that.
If only I had given her bardic inspiration.
God, she's got +6. She rolled only a 5.
wow.
I didn't do much better.
Yeah, but you rolled an 8. Oof.
That probably
We're
be
gonna
the
have
worst
to
of
fight
all.
this thing, aren't we?
What?
We rolled a natural 20.
With a, yeah, natural 20 with a plus with a -1 for stealth. Yep. And you know what? Just to see how crazy this is gonna get. Nope, wrong one.
With
Oof.
disadvantage.
Oh wait, no. Wait. Who got disadvantage?
Theobald, if that was Theobald.
Why did he have disadvantage?
I don't know.
That's
It might have been something from a previous combat that you didn't unclick. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
he
probably
rolled it.
because
Oh wait, I think it's because of the armor. Just a second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you didn't uncheck the armor. Probably.
Never
That's
mind.
right.
Re-roll that.
You got worse.
You guys start to sneak back towards it, and immediately Theobald falls over, and you just hear as this giant fucking croc starts to turn and starts slowly crawling his way. It doesn't notice the rest of you yet, but it noticed him because he just fucking fell on his ass and damn near fell into the water too.
Probably banged his shield, which was probably what woke it up.
No, I think he just tripped over a coconut and like Elena's like, told you. F incarnate. I warned you. No, it's just a harmless coconut.
So you probably got to make up stats for a crocodile now, don't you?
He very nervously, by the way, tells you I'll just kind of like step back and keep out of sight, and he kind of just splashes his shield a couple more times trying to keep its attention. And I'm pretty sure I can come up with stats pretty quickly. 5E. Hey, I only got halfway through, and then that was already trying to give me the name. Crocodile, here we go, stats. Didn't expect to pull this up, but here we go. Okay. Alright, not too bad.
I'm surprised there's actually monsters in the SRD. Oh, that's right, the big difference with the monsters being in there is you don't get the, there's no token in the SRD.
There's no particular token. And we're gonna rough this because I didn't really have a plan for this either. This is kind of an off-the-cuff thing, so I'm going to say that he keeps its attention and he keeps trying to draw it in closer and closer, and
we're going to fight it without there being a token, basically.
Yeah, we're going to fight this without a token thing. Perception is what stat now?
His passive perception is 10.
Wisdom.
Actually, yeah, be going off his passive perception. Yeah. So everybody, everybody else, trying to roll above a 10.
Actually, didn't technically all of us do that already?
That was originally for trying to sneak up on it to attack, and now you're all trying to hide from it. So it's essentially the same roll, but for a different reason. Okay, everyone's doing good so far. Nice.
Elena got another natural 20.
Elena, you are one with the wind, and this time Giselle's not far behind you. Xena, you're just oddly enough at the same level, and you're all just like blended easily with the palm trees. You see Theobald continue to slowly back up and just kind of ha, and trying to splash water and trying to annoy the croc and continuing to follow him. And I'm going to give you all a chance to range attack this thing before combat officially commences.
Okay, so let's see, range attack.
Let's see. I don't want to.
You know what I should have done, but I didn't think about it. It's too late now. Is I should have used my minor illusion cantrip to distract it. But anyhow, I guess I'll throw a dagger at it. Throw a dagger at it.
Whatever you want to do for a ranged attack.
Yep. Pretty positive that hit, considering it has 12 armor class.
Oh yeah, so yeah, hits for 5 damage. Somebody's been checking the stats.
I actually crocodile and looked.
Okay, yeah, you hit for 5 damage. Valena, do you have anything?
I don't want to use necrotic because I don't want to ruin the meat.
I don't think that particularly ruins the meat, but okay.
So I'm gonna magic missile it.
Oh jeez, that's overkill.
Boom, boom. We'll see. We'll see what she can roll for damage. 11. You hit it. It looks really bad, but it's still alive and kicking. So we're going to get Giselle in on this, and she gets to have sneak attack because it's technically first of all doesn't see her coming, and second of all is busy with Theobald.
Yeah, it's basically engaged in combat with Theobald. So
you know how to distract. You. Once per turn, you can deal extra damage to one creature you hit with that attack. Right, so.
I think it adds a 1d6.
Okay, so that's the sneak attack damage, and then she has to do the
wait,
damage.
I did that wrong. It's supposed to be 1 plus each dice. and I did just +1. So it'll be a 13.
Yeah, that should have been 13. It's still not dead though.
It's still not dead. It's a little bit worse, but it's still not dead. You need to remember that next time.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, so it puts us at 18 total damage. So actually, yeah,
Ting!
she killed it. She killed it.
So yeah, that was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with the sneak attack. Yeah. You all get almost dead. She just shoots with an arrow and immediately impacts the skull and it just falls over with barely more than a tail twitch.
Alright.
She re-peeks out from behind a tree. I think that does it.
Right. Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna go.
Stop that.
What?
You keep bumping your microphone or something. I don't know.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I go. I guess I'll go and grab it by the tail and start dragging it back to the ship.
Theobald grabs it by the head and starts helping you heft it back.
Yeah. I go. Guess we're having crocodile and coconuts for dinner.
That's alright. I hear crocodile tastes like chicken.
Doesn't everything taste like chicken?
No, the crocodile are amazingly like real chicken.
I go. Of course, anything's got to be better than hyena.
Yeah, this sounds gamey.
This is like a really big rat. You wouldn't want to eat that either.
Nah. So you managed to get the crocodile back to the ship, and on the shore you take care of the butchering. Do you want to do anything else with it, or do you just want to chop it up for food?
I guess we can try to get the leather off of it, the scales.
Yeah.
Try and get some crocodile hide off of it. All right. Who wants to do the medicine check?
Yeah, it's wisdom, right?
I would suggest Theobald do that.
Yeah.
All right.
He's got a high wisdom stat because he's a cleric, so yeah.
Yeah.
Theobald. Medicine. He does have a +3 naturally. Oh yeah. Yeah, it takes him a few moments, but you see him kind of go at it slowly with the knife, and you just see these nice, long, clean cuts. And in a few moments, it just flap. Holy shit! I'm better at this than I thought. We need a place to hang this.
Are there trees nearby?
Actually, you might want to hang it somewhere on the ship, somewhere for it to dry out.
All right.
I'm trying to think right now, really quick off the top of my head. Matter of fact,
I signal for Gunter to come down.
Okay, Gunter comes down. Yes, Captain?
I go. Need you to find some place to put these this crocodile hide to dry off.
Okay, he looks at it and thinks for a moment. I might be able to suggest that we put it in the hold, probably underneath the grate where the sun comes through. The sun would help dry it.
Yeah, I give him a thumbs up.
He nods and goes to set up something underneath the hold grate so it can get sun and dry off, where there's plenty of fresh air coming in. After a while, he gets a couple spare 2x4s set up, and he kind of makes like a pseudo cot thing with it just to have it hang there and dry out.
I'm assuming Valena is going to share her coconuts.
Yeah, she's gonna share her coconuts.
Share the coconuts, you chop up the food, and I will say that there's technically a small, kind of cramped, but there is a small little area pre-prepared for like trying to cook stuff in. So you do start to cook up the alligator meat and preserve the rest of it in a shit ton of. Actually, you have bags of holding, don't you? I keep trying to remember if that's the thing.
No,
or
we
not.
do not. No, we do
No,
not.
you don't. Okay. I do think someone had some sort of preservation box, so you just essentially douse the rest of it in a shit ton of salt and preserve it for now, and cook the rest that you're going to have right away today.
Right.
And I'm going to say that you probably have another decent-sized crock like that. You probably have at least another 2 to 3 days of serving that one fresh crock.
Right.
Right, and we have fresh water, coconut water.
You found 2 coconuts. I'd say as a small side, you have at least another day's worth of coconuts.
All right.
And yeah, you can probably, if you're really, really set on it, you can probably even collect some of the coconut water as a side thing too. Not that you really
probably
need the
not.
water. There's plenty of water in all directions. Just gotta
Well, I
collect
mean,
it.
it's got more flavor to it than regular water.
True.
But yeah.
And actually, probably adding it to some regular water would also probably help. Help spread out the flavor for a little bit too.
I asked Garroth if he's ever had crocodile before.
He kind of ponders for a moment and it's like, can't say I have.
Okay. Well, if you like crocodile, oh wait, you never had it. Anyways, you're gonna have it flavored with coconut.
Kind of shrugs like okay.
I don't think we were planning on mixing the coconut with the crocodile, but that would involve a bit more cooking talent than I think anyone on the crew has. I kind of just assumed we were going to have fresh coconut as like a side item with the meat.
Oh yeah, I guess we could do that.
So yeah, basically you start setting up the plans for your dinner as you slowly cook the crocodile that you're going to have for dinner tonight. And I take it you set off again?
Yep, after we're done eating.
Alright, I'm going to say between you and the navigator you have a bonus for... actually, what would that be? Let's see if there's anything about navigation or ship direction inside the rules here, really quick.
And actually, while I'm thinking about it, as we're getting ready to leave, I kind of... Because what Giselle said about the... seems like people are getting their shipments stolen. I asked Conrad and Gunter if they've heard anything about something like that, because they've been in the area for a while too, so they might have.
Conrad just basically says, actually, the Gunther would say he's heard that there's been periodical pirate issues, but nothing too extreme. Conrad, on the other hand, would say that he's heard that, in particular, there's been problems with the spice routes constantly getting grabbed before they can make it across the sea. So despite the spices from the western side of the continent are kind of highly valued already across to the east side, but even more so now because it's been the fastest way to get them across was by sea, and now it's being assumably almost completely cut off at this point.
So if we were able to do anything about that, people would probably be willing to pay good money for the service.
That's possible, yes. If you can find a place that's looking to try and ship some spices, you'd probably make a pretty penny on it.
Good to know.
Okay, this is more about movement during combat, which case, yeah, okay. I'm gonna say, give me a straight up dex roll with advantage, because you got help from Conrad for doing it. There you go. Yeah, effortlessly, you just slowly steer the ship out. A few moments later, you just turn it back, and you're just right back on track on the same side of the river.
All right. Before we continue, I was going to say, can we take a quick bathroom break?
Sure.
All right, I'll be right back.
Also gives me a moment. I haven't actually been checking the chat. No, quite as usual.
All right.
Usually get more reactions out of having it on YouTube or BitChute lately.
Right.
Speaking of which, for anyone watching on BitChute, hello. Thanks for the comments.
Hello.
And thanks for watching. You guys have been super reactive of late. I don't know why, but BitChute's just been kind of growing to be a better and better place for me to put stuff.
Right. So, no, that's probably a conversation after the session.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna ask, but that's maybe.
It has to do with video games.
Yeah, it'll be more after the stream thing, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. So it's funny that Kevin's been more reactive about it.
Oh, I think I might know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Which is rare because I don't hear much from Kevin anymore unless he pops in conversation.
Hmm.
But then again,
Is
go
the Mask
ahead.
making a new comic series?
as in the green mask of Loki mask.
Yeah.
Huh. Is it gonna be a hard R or PG-13?
Well, the comic book series has been kind of always a really weird and slightly skewed to adult themes kind of series, to be honest.
Yeah.
Apparently this looks like it might be a recent thing, and they're getting an issue 2 of a new Mask series called I Pledge Allegiance to the Mask. And the first cover, or at least one of the covers they're showing here, is the Mask in the Oval Office with everything on fire behind him.
Oh gosh.
I will copy image and share with you directly. That's different. It's been a while since they've done one of those comic books, so I'm wondering who's behind it. If it's the original creators, then all the power to them, because apparently their original comic run was pretty decent for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Hello.
Sorry about that, but you know, we even though we kind of went through an hour of rambling before we started, but it has been, you know, more than 2 hours since the call started, so I needed to take a quick break.
Yep. So I guess, yeah, the things go nonchalantly for a while outside of the news of possible movement of pirates and closer to town than expected, but other than that, nothing happens. Dinner's finally ready. You all eat freshly cooked crocodile. And into the night, nothing else really seems to catch anyone's attention. And I assume for nighttime you want to take shifts again?
Makes sense to have somebody on watch.
Also even a half mast still allows you to keep moving.
Yeah. Well, I'll let the I'm not gonna make the navigator take a watch because he's
gonna need to be clear-headed for the rest of the time.
Yeah. I need him to make sure he gets proper amount of full sleep.
Well, technically everyone gets full sleep. It's just that you're taking shifts, making sure everything's okay for an hour.
This is probably not a good idea, but Melina's probably going to have her Raven up on a perch on the shoulder of the person whoever is taking the watch.
That's probably, well, wouldn't your Raven not be getting any sleep then?
You can sleep during the day, which would be better when we don't have to hear it cock or say a random word again.
Okay.
It's for the greater good. The greater good.
The greater good.
I'd say,
Shut up!
Actually, because of the size of crew we got, I'm gonna say, we'll have Gunter and Valena take a shift together because of the fact that Gunter is not really a combatant, but he'll just be an extra set of eyes for her when it's her shift. And everybody else will take a solo shift.
Yeah. And like I said, it's probably a good suggestion to have a half mast. So you're not moving as quickly, but you still are going to be moving. And for anyone who's not well trained in it, you can still direct the ship a little bit more easily if you're not running full speed.
Yeah. Obviously, if something went wrong, we'd wake the navigator up. But
so, actually, I'm going to see. I haven't had to
I'll
open up the dice roller until now.
I say I'll take the first watch.
Okay.
I'll take the first watch, then Valena and Gunther, or then Theobald, then Giselle, then Garroth.
All right. So you want to take first watch and give me a perception, please.
If I'm the captain, I'm like, I'll take the first watch, and then I can just sleep the rest of the time.
Wow. Okay. Yep. You go back to the top of the cabin where the steering for the ship is at, and you're just kind of casually watching this night officially takes over everything. A little bit of moonlight, a little bit of stars here and there. You do see some more markings like crocodiles, it would seem more naturally this time. Might have been moving on the shoreline, but otherwise you don't see any other strange things in the night.
Perception's actually a skill I put extra work into because of the fact that I have bonuses in perception from two separate skill choices to make up for the fact that I actually have low wisdom.
Okay.
So it's only a +3 instead of a +4 that it would have been if I had no wisdom bonus.
All right. But yeah, your hour of steering the ship and keeping an eye out for things passes without a problem. So next up was
Gunter and Valena.
Gunter and Valena. All right. I mentioned. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but there are actually sailor stats in here for the new rule book I got here. I need to find them again. Way down here.
Oh,
Oh. Oh yeah. Look. Oh wow.
He got a natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. Yeah, Valena, you're oddly sharp-eyed tonight, and like nothing passes you. Matter of fact, even the crow is just kind of like actively half the time looking the other direction for you. Not even a thing for it to react to. You do see the very rare occasional bit of like fish and or bird. Otherwise, not even crocodile signs anymore at the moment for about an hour. So it seems pretty peaceful and quiet on the riverbed for the hour that you're watching with Gunther. Gunther's manning the aim of the ship, and he does have to help avoid a rock or two, but outside that, it seems to have been nothing major.
Then it's Theobald's turn.
Alright, then Theobald. Where is your perception? There it is. Oh, wait. Yep. Yeah, he has no time. He has no hard time with it either. He's sitting by the wheel. He occasionally has to turn once for one rock, and then just otherwise is naturally turning it to try and keep with the angle of the river as it's slowly sloping southward and then continuing a little more eastward again. But outside the little bit of following the river's curve, there doesn't seem to be anything that grabs his attention either for this hour of the night. Alright, I believe the next one's Garoth.
Oh no, Giselle. Garoth was last.
Oh, yeah, it's Gazelle.
Yeah. I figured out the strong guy, sleep the first bunch, and then just be the last one to take watch. So Giselle was next, then Garoth.
Wow.
Everybody's just dominating those perception checks.
Oh no, you're gonna jinx it.
Giselle is watching things. Majority of her hour, like, literally sees nothing outside of the occasional animal that's possibly woken or stirred to waking by the boat at this late hour. Until the very end, as Garoth is starting to come out, then she starts to notice some weird markings along the shoreline again, and she's just like, is that more canoe marks? That looks like more canoe marks, but she can't make out for sure in the dark. And she isn't going to risk another stop for finding nothing.
Right.
Because if it's the same as last time, it's going to be the same markers of maybe leftover crates and then nothing left behind.
Yeah. And she's not going to want to wake people up for nothing.
Mm-hmm. When Garoth comes up with her, she does...
You know what I didn't think of earlier? We should have took the empty crates. We could have used the wood.
Oh, you know what? That's a possibility, actually, now that you mention it. Oh, well.
Yeah. I was thinking, yeah, like, those could have, like... That was wood that could have been used for, like, patch jobs if needed be.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of that.
As Garoth comes up to her, she points out really quickly the canoe marks, and it takes him a moment, but he does finally spot them and nods, and he's like, okay, I don't know what to look for then. And she's like, you think you're gonna be okay trying to keep an eye out open? And he's like, if I see anyone try and make a move on us, Crom himself will be awoken. Don't worry about it.
And
she just kind of smiles and nods and heads back to the cabin to rest for her last hour.
Dooms just flies up and perches on Garoth's shoulder.
Huh? Oh, your crow?
Raven.
Your raven?
Yeah.
Yes, squab. It's another word for crow or raven. He just has his preferred name for it.
Let's make a conversation. A little lonely out here.
Demons! Immediately tries to strangle it.
I'm assuming like most of them are sleeping in the hall while I'm probably sleeping in the cabin.
At least a couple. I'm pretty sure at least a couple of you are sleeping at home. Matter of fact, by the way, ow, easy with that microphone, please.
Sorry.
Matter of fact, Valena, you mentioned you wanted to set up your little shrine. I'm going to assume immediately that your bed is probably nearby, which means you should set up when people come down to the hall. They'll see you sleeping underneath the stairs going into the hall, and not too far away from the foot of your bedding right now is where you set up your little skull shrine. Underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
So everybody's got to get creeped out on their way into the hall.
Everyone comes down to the hall, and after one person looked under there, they're like, don't. Just don't.
Sorry about that. I was holding my mic with my left hand and start shaking randomly. It's okay, I think.
Alright, I need to pull up Garoth and to see what he spots in his shift. Oh, he actually got non-natural bonuses to this. And, wow.
You actually had advantage turned on when you did that.
Oof. I did accidentally have advantage turned on, and he still sucked. He sees a bird, maybe two. He just keeps eyeing the crow that keeps side-eyeing him too, and if it's not sleeping. shrugs and just lets it be for now. But otherwise, he doesn't notice a thing either. Outside of the one rock that was obviously big and pointy and sharp, and he had a quiet moment of panic, but he managed to finally get the boat to turn. Matter of fact, as he was trying to steer it and pulling on the steering column, he actually heard it creak a little bit because he might have pulled it a little too hard, but he let go of it and it seems to be fine.
I like to picture Azina's parrot in his sleep just hears this. You hear this. Stop it. I don't know.
it's sleeping. It's like, stop it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stop it.
Zena wakes up, one eye open, gives a little head scratch, and goes back to sleep.
I don't. We're having way too much fun with the fact that I taught the bird to say that.
Alright, so after Geralt's turn, it's pretty much, I believe, it's done for the night. Double checking how many shifts did we do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that was only 5 shifts. Oh, actually, that's right. We normally do multiple hours for everybody.
Yeah, there's no because we used to only have 4 people, so we used to only have 4 shifts. So it's split out. It's split out like a little.
Yeah,
I
I think it's more of an hour and a half now instead of 2 hours for everybody. Normally the shifts are relaxed anyways, outside of the little bit of steering for the ship, but that's to be expected, and it doesn't really take much to do it. You can do it while half awake, and everything will still be fine as long as you're paying enough attention. So yeah, I'll say that after the couple of more like an hour and a quarter shifts, you just have to spend a lot less time being awake now. It finally is dawn cracking through, and yeah, I'll probably say Azina and maybe Gunther are the first. Not Gunther.
Conrad.
Yeah, Conrad are probably the first 2 awake, and we'll probably take the helm while Geralf. Actually, yeah, Geralf will probably head back into the cabin and possibly start poking around about what they're going to start doing for breakfast.
Right.
Here's a clue. It's probably more crocodile.
So,
With a side of jerky.
Tombs. So
Conrad
Tombs
would
is
probably have been the
gonna.
first one up because he didn't take a shift, so he just slept the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
So Tombs is gonna fly off Garrock, just slowly fly slower to Velena's bed, and then Velena's gonna get up, pull the covers over the Raven, and put a bed under its like beacon head and pellet pillow on its beacon head, and just pat it and just go upstairs.
So you smother your crow with your raven with a blanket.
Yeah, and then as she goes up with Soren, she's like peace and quiet, and she suddenly hears skulls, skulls. It's like, oh darn it! By the White Witch, damn it!
Why skulls?
Because it's what I was first taught to say.
I thought you failed the skull thing and you went with danger.
you failed that roll because you're trying to do that to screw with me.
So I guess it's danger, danger, danger,
Danger, Will Robinson.
Who the hell's Will Robinson? Have you been eating
On
food
top file
from,
effects.
Have you been getting food from other people?
Oh.
So, one thing I want to do while that I'm going to start trying to do today is I want to try to teach my parrot to say shiny in response to seeing coins.
All right. Give me an animal handling check.
Oof.
Oof. You start to get somewhere, but it doesn't seem to quite stick yet. I'm gonna say you spend about an hour, and that's how far you get, at least for during the morning. So actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this a little more speedily done, and I'm going to say, first half of the day, what is everyone doing? And so that's part of Xena's morning. Is there anything else she wants to do outside of just keeping a general eye on things?
Not particularly. Everybody's kind of got a job already.
Everyone's scouting. Everyone's trying to keep the ship on track. Matter of fact, Geralt is starting to get a little more at ease at steering. Although the first time he had to do it on himself, he almost broke the wheel off.
I check on Theobald and see if he's doing any better than he was yesterday.
Theobald does seem to be a little better on his feet, and since Geralt was already poking around, he is actually going to start cooking. And get everybody's breakfast ready.
Although, while he's doing that, I do talk to him for a moment. And Garroth is getting the food ready, or Theobald is?
Theobald.
Okay. So while Theobald's getting the food ready, I kind of talk to him and go, so, if need be, would you have any issue with trying to... which one of them... Crap, which one of them did we give the sword to? One of them took a sword, one took a mace.
Oh, I don't think we actually decided which one took which.
No, I remember what it was. The navigator took the sword, and the carpenter took the mace, because it's probably just most like a hammer. I was assuming it would be the reason he would have took the mace.
That and just kind of natural clubbing motion.
I asked Theobald if he'd have any issue with trying to teach Conrad how to wield a sword if need be.
I suppose when there's some time when he isn't needed for navigation, we can probably work on that a bit. Slowly flips some more pieces of crocodile. As they kind of sort of grill. What you're saying?
Nice and bloody, like Blena likes it. Which is really creepy when you think about it.
Well, fresh meat is always naturally a little runny.
This is really random, but you know how like Dragon Age Origins, they had that stupid effect where you defeat like a few enemies and then your character's like completely just like covered in blood splatter for like until like you load into a new area. I don't know why, but Velena's character avatar I could just kind of picture her having that effect on her, where she's just covered in blood, doesn't change her facial expression at all, like there's anything different about what's going on.
I'm casually covered in blood. Yay.
The White Witch will be proud.
Oh, Looney. Turn me into a newt.
A newt?
Uncle Bitter.
Well, it was a fair court.
Anyway, anything else you guys are going to do in the morning? Actually, I'm going
Belena is just going to explore aboard the ship, but this time with Soren, or Wolf, by her side. You know, he's going to nip at... No, just lick her fingers, and she's just going to pet him, and I guess... then we'll go to Navigator, whatever his name was.
Conrad.
And ask him what's he see beyond the horizon.
Actually, before I do that, I'm also going to check how well breakfast goes.
Oh god! Because his fire legs were enough.
I'm trying to decide what this would be. It's not sleight of hand.
Or cooking?
Yeah. Would it be more of a performance? I don't think it would be a performance, would it?
I think they have cooking utensils for it, but it's like...
I think as weird as it is, I think cooking might just be like a medicine check. Either that or survival.
Right.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think it'd probably be more of a survival.
Right.
Oof.
Probably burnt it.
He burns the first piece and he's like, oh shit, oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot. Oh, there he goes. he botched the first piece of crocodile, but the rest of it starts to go smoothly as he keeps a better eye on it. He was distracted for a few moments with the first piece and didn't focus enough. Matter of fact, to make up for it, he also eats the burnt piece. Like, a little bit chewy, but otherwise it's not too bad. The inside's still good. So with that, I'm going to say it goes on until midday, and lunch goes on without much of a problem either. Is there anything you guys want to do during the later half of the day? The next day is when you're going to finally hit the next city.
I guess Blaine's gonna look around and see if she sees any more ships.
You do still see periodic ships every once in a while. It's not like they're coming in constantly. There are other ships and other, not only other ports to go to, but there's also other river beds that people can go through. This just happens to be one of the bigger main ones.
Right. So
I would say roughly every hour to 2 hours you at least see another ship coming from the other way.
Right.
They don't seem to have much news to report outside of everything you guys have kind of already heard. Problems with getting spices around. A few of the ships never coming back. A few of them coming back with tales of being raided for the spices, etc.
Oh, are these ships by chance selling spices?
The ships that you're seeing right now, no, they seem to be coming with other goods at the moment.
Because crocodile would be delicious with spices.
That's a thought. Well, not the spices, but I mean, if any of them would want to trade anything for crocodile meat. Probably not, though, because we don't really got that much of it.
Yeah, not really. Most of them would probably be a little better stocked immediately off the bat. This was kind of a rushed get it going and get us out to the water kind of deal.
Right.
Which, despite how nerve-wrackingly quick this was, the crew does seem to have taken to it rather well so far, as things have been going smoothly otherwise.
Right. I mean, like when we stopped and it ended up being a waste of time, I made sure it wasn't a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least you came back with food, and you also managed to almost near perfectly come out with a crocodile hide, which you can probably trade for later after it's done drying.
Yeah. Or have somebody make something with it.
Either or.
You know what Xena needs?
What?
A new nice pair of crocodile boots.
No, that'd be a waste.
Okay. Alright.
No,
But,
crocodile. It clashes with the rest of the style.
Well, realistically, if I was gonna do something like that, I'd rather get like gauntlets made. But at the same time, I already have armor, so like, I don't know.
A crocodile bag.
I was about to say, yeah, crocodile just clashed with her style. She probably would go for alligator instead. I don't know. Yeah, but anyways, so Velena's walking around with Zoran, talking with several crew members, and trying to
making the new crew guys slightly nervous with the wolf constantly staring at them.
I just
they're just lucky it's had crocodile today, so it's being nice.
It probably has like a bone of the crocodile in its mouth, just
Matter of fact, yeah, you probably did keep a bone or two just to give him something to gnaw on. He gets bored. He just sits down with the bone and just starts gnawing on it.
I'm just gonna give you guys an idea of a plan I had that's not really relevant for what's going on right now, but I just thought of, because I have minor illusion now, right? which can be used to create either a visual illusion or an audio illusion. And because Valena always has skulls around, I just thought about, like, in a situation where we need to try and just, like, scare people away or something, I was thinking how amazing it would be for me to cast Unseen Servant, have the Unseen Servant carry one of Valena's skulls, cast light on the skull, so the Unseen Servant's carrying a glowing skull, and then use minor illusion to make it sound like the skull is talking. Like, think of how much that would screw with someone mentally that wasn't expecting a floating, glowing, talking skull to stumble upon them.
Yeah, all of a sudden they just look up, see this floating, glowing skull. I'll swallow your soul. I swallow your soul. Ah! And start running in a panic into the forest.
Yeah, and just Valena stares at it and just goes, "White Witch is blessings upon you."
The only thing is, now if I ever actually do this, I've kind of ruined the build-up for it.
Oh well. Pull it out when you least expect it.
Right.
Anyway, so anything else anyone else is doing the later half of the day?
Yeah, I think Valena's just trying to make small talk, get to know the crew members a bit more, and try and build a relationship with them.
As we're going, I kind of keep an eye out to see if I notice any merchant ships that look like they have food. Perception.
Give me a perception check on that.
Ugh.
Yeah, you try looking out for this as Ozina, and Ozina starts to realize there's one particular problem with this particular idea. You can't really tell when they're merchant ships of food because they don't like exactly have a good eat sign on the side of the ship. One merchant ship looks like another merchant ship. Who knew?
Oh my god.
And Valena does not get any better.
Slightly better, but not by much.
You know what I'm picturing happening? I'm picturing a merchant ship going by with a Jolly Roger that just has a giant picture of bread on it, and we just somehow don't notice it.
No, what I'm picturing now is
there's another one passes by and it's got a fork and a spoon.
I'm picturing like the one with the bread passing by, and it's like, is that a bird? No, it's a plane. And then,
actually, it looks like
Gareth
a fish
like,
jumping out of the water.
Gareth goes, "No, it's a rock."
No, it's a rock.
You know what, dude?
It's a big rock.
Do you want any of us have tools that could be used to fish? I didn't even think about that till just now.
No, I don't think anyone here has a fishing rod.
Do we have nets?
I know supplies we need to get when we reach the next town.
Do we have nets?
Do you have nets?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
There are some
Not
just
that I'm
sitting on-
aware of.
Yep. Yeah. We didn't plan for any of this, like, at all.
Your
Yes,
heart
we
really
probably
do,
can.
whoopsie.
Because if we bought a few fishing nets, that would probably save us a lot of money on fishing pole.
I was so focused on getting the ship that I didn't think about anything else.
Wait, do we have any string or metal
We have rope.
or sticks on the ship?
Spare sticks? Not really. Rope, only the rope that you need to be tying this to the next dock you parking next to.
We have wand of web, but I don't think that works. I don't think you can use spider web for fishing.
You maybe have some normal spare nylon rope, but it's like the stuff you need in case you like need a grapple hook or way
Minute,
around
I
or
have an
something.
idea. I have an idea. What if we park the ship and pull out the wand of web like a huge fishing net stretching across the river?
I don't think it can go that far.
Yeah, for one,
Well,
I think it's only like a couple of feet, and for two, I think it would only last like what, 5 minutes?
Well,
think
5 minutes would be enough time to catch up with some fish, right?
I think it might actually last for like an hour, but at the same time, it's not a feasible plan.
Nah. Now you'll capture about 10 square feet of fish. Good luck with that. Hope they don't swim around. Got some smart, badass fish up in here.
Oh, smarter than the average fish.
So, nothing else then?
Not that I can think of.
Alright. Gareth does go inside the cabin for a while, and anyone who happens to peek in on what he's up to will probably find him actually shining up the Crom icon. It has been covered in dust and other junk for quite a while, and he, other than splashing up a bit of water, nothing's really going to clean it for a while. So he's actually taking some time to get some very minor materials together to start waxing it up and getting it all nice and shiny again.
It's good to have things to care about.
Right.
Yeah, so by the time you're all having dinner, when you come back inside to grab some food, you also see the nice big shiny circular thing for Crom, and so you'd almost swear the thing was just cast yesterday. How nice it shines up again.
And just so anyone,
Geralt probably spent like a good 2 hours cleaning that thing off.
if anyone's curious why I was looking for a merchant vessel with food, I was interested in trying to get bread to go with our meals.
Bread! Please, bread! Oh, well, I guess I'll eat more meat.
We're gonna get
I
scurvy.
could just picture just one ship just passing by. It's like, do they want to show us? I don't know. We sell a bunch of good
I
bread
hate to
with
break it to you, Ozzy, but I don't think bread helps with scurvy.
I know, but just because you mentioned just meat, but you know, it comes from not eating fruit and vegetables, basically.
I could just picture this one ship just going, man, we have so much Hyborian French bread for a gator, for a crocodile, but we don't
We have
have any
so much of these
customers."
wheat and fruits and vegetables. I just wish we had some meat we could eat once in a while. I mean, you literally hear them as there's mentioned this on their bow of their ship, and you're just like, "Hi, bye." Without even thinking about it.
All
As he
right.
rolls single digits.
So we're eating as a crew, and
I'll have dinner as a crew. Night starts to fall in, and I'm going to assume we're going to do shifts again.
Yeah. Actually, this might be a good time to stop.
I'm trying to
Unless
get to that point.
Yeah. Or you want to get through this before that?
I'm just gonna say offhand, outside of like a few more instances of seeing the weird raft marks, the weird canoe marks, and the occasional bit of crocodile sightings, and maybe a few other beasties along the shoreline, you don't really see anything. Matter of fact, at one point, Graf spotted an elk just before his shift was done. It's like, oh dear.
Oh, so you're basically just saying our shifts all went through without anything really happening.
Yeah, you see some more weird stuff occasionally, but outside of the animals and the occasional one or two appearances of more canoe marks, you don't really see anything overnight. So then by the next morning, you do finally arrive at your planned destination of Akiv, Akiv, which is right here. Those working at the map. Actually, I'm gonna scoot up the map. So you'll finally get here, and this is pretty much the halfway point of the river. It's another more or less port city. It's based along this huge river that you've been traveling down for a couple days.
Yeah.
The shipyards here are a smidge bit bigger, but that's because they can branch out along more riverbed coasts than Shadazar had. Because Shadazar is also a little bit crippled because of being right next to the mountain line too, so they can't build as far as they would like to. But yes, you finally do reach Akif. It's Slightly similar to Shadowzar in design, but there's a lot more greenery here. And and also because you're closer to the sea, there's a wider range of people. It's not as much Zamorian as they used to be. You've kind of like early this like close to midnight or a little bit after you probably officially crossed that that particular line out of Zamoria. No more worries of giant spiders. For now.
Yeah, quick question. Or, I mean, do you want to keep going, or do you think that we should stop? Because it is past your usual stop time.
Like I said, I wanted to at least get you to Akif here. So Akif is going to be your stopping point. As the 2 days have passed, yes, you've thought of numerous things that you're suddenly like, oh shoot, we should have grabbed this or that or the next thing. So this is the best time to stop. See if there's any trading you can do. Check on the hide, see how that's doing. But we can do all of that next time, and we'll see how things go from there. Otherwise, that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all possibly in a couple more weeks to do some more Conan. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.